Hi, this is Wendy Adams at the Colorado School of Mines, and I wanted to share with you today some work we've been doing recently about the prestige of the teaching profession here as part of Get the Facts Out. So let me share my screen with you quickly. And I want to talk about, our work here is working to repair the reputation of the teaching profession. And this is a project that's a partnership between the American Chemical Society, the Association of Mathematics Teacher Educators, the American Association of Physics Teachers, and the American Physical Society. And so specifically what I was going to talk about is I'm going to just show you a quick overview of how GFO works to increase the perceptions, and then talk a little bit about why there are so many negative stories out there, and then how can we increase the prestige of the profession, or should we? So let's take a look quickly at a really quick synopsis of teaching the best kept secret. And this is work we do to share the benefits of teaching compared to industry and university teaching. So to start with, I'd like you to consider a ladder where the 10th rung, the very top of the ladder, is your best possible life. And the floor, before you even step on the ladder, is the worst possible life. So on which step of the ladder would you say you feel you stand at this time? Now, Gallup actually calls 350 people a day, and they ask them this question along with 50 other questions, including on which step do you think you'll stand a few years from now? And then they do some analysis with this, and they'll divide it out by demographic group. And in this case, they divided it out by occupation. So where do you think teachers as an occupation group stand compared to other occupations? Do you think it's near the top, that they're one of the highest rated professions, or do you think they rate their lives more in the middle compared to other professions, or maybe do they rate their lives at the bottom compared to other professions? And so what they find is that actually teachers rate their lives higher than all occupation groups, trailing only physicians. And here at Get the Facts Out, we have been working for probably the last 6 years, digging into data, trying to understand why this might be. And what we're finding the top reasons to be is work-life balance, student and colleague relationships, and financial stability. And so for work-life balance in particular, there's several reasons. One of them is teachers have flexible summers that they can use to recharge, spend time with family and friends, or pursue other interests. They have a known calendar year, about a year in advance, so they can schedule holidays and time off without having to worry about something coming up, a deadline, or having to ask, if they have seniority to be able to ask. None of that is in the picture for them. They have intermittent breaks. Teachers work very hard and they need time to recharge. And there are 3-day and 4-day weekends that are offered approximately once a month. Plus there's the known holidays like Thanksgiving break, the holiday break, spring break, and of course summer. And that gives teachers time to recharge and get ready to come back again after some time off. And their schedule is flexible once school lets out. So if a teacher has kids they need to pick up after school, they can, or maybe they have some things that need to get done during business hours. They have some flexibility there that most other careers don't offer. So did you know that at year 15, the middle 50% of teacher salaries range between $64,000 and $102,000? This is nationally. This is the middle 50%. So there's 25% above and 25% below that. And what we find is it seems to be, as a society, that we tend to talk about the lowest salary we've ever heard a teacher earn, which means we're talking about their starting salary usually. And in contrast, we talk about the highest salary we've heard people earn in other careers. Often we'll be quoting a mid or late career salary. And so this creates a perceived pay gap that really doesn't exist. And so we've learned that we just need to share accurate data about teacher salaries with people. And then it becomes more clear that that's a more reasonable amount. And it's something that you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to be able to be a teacher. So one of the things we do is we produce these infographics. I'm not going to go through the infographic, but I just want to share that on these infographics, we have teacher salaries, we have the typical wages in the area, and then we also show housing prices and sample homes that can be afforded based on a couple of different salaries. And so we make this for places all around the country. We've got them for about 160, 170 locations now. Did you know you can get a job almost anywhere in the US or abroad as a science or math teacher? So not only can you teach in the US almost anywhere as a math or science teacher, you can also get a job somewhere like Korea or Japan or Hong Kong or Europe. If you'd like to work and live in that environment and in that community, then this is a really great way to do it with your US teaching license, teaching your subject area. There are student loan forgiveness programs and scholarships for math and science teachers. After you've taught for 5 years, there's federal loan forgiveness of $17,500. And almost every state has additional programs where they'll help pay off your student loans if you're in a high, hard to fill position like math or science, special ed, or maybe in a rural district. Most teaching jobs have better retirement benefits than other jobs you can get with the same degree. Teachers in the US, because of our pension systems, compared to a 401k, the pension is usually much nicer and much more lucrative. Teachers in the US retire at an average age of 59, compared to 63 for all other occupations, so a full 4 years earlier. And did you know that experienced teachers are highly skilled and they can move into a range of careers? They could stay in the classroom and stay as a teacher if that's, if they're loving it. They could also be, help all the teachers in the building and be a principal. Maybe they want to move into later in their career into being a superintendent of an entire district. Sometimes teachers decide that they'd like to work in human resources and help support other teachers or help recruit the talent for the building. You could become an engineer. Teachers might go work for the State Department of Education or become a college faculty, a researcher, move into management. The skills that teachers get after several years in the classroom make them highly valuable employees. So I had talked a little bit about how teachers rate their lives so highly. Well, here's some data to help support that from a very different direction. This is the JOLTS report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it shows quit rates. It shows when a person voluntarily leaves their workplace. So if a teacher were to leave their school district, it would show up here as a quit. If they might leave their school district to go to another school district, or they might leave their school district because they're going to go be an engineer. We don't know. The orange line here is state and local education public. So this contains teachers and everybody else in the building, as well as universities. And so about 30% of this orange line is K-12 public school teachers. And you can see historically, from 2001 to now, teachers have the lowest quit rates of any profession, just matching with federal government. That's the only thing that is equal to them. And all the other professions have much higher quit rates, which have drastically increased over the last 2 years. And we follow this every month in 2022, and we're still tracking with previous years. So get the facts out. We're seeing that teachers rate their lives better than all other occupation groups, trailing only physicians, and they're much less likely to quit their job than other careers. So we need to start celebrating the positives of the profession. If the only narratives and stories that are out there are negative, that's what will get picked up. It's important to also share the positives of the profession to provide some much needed balance. So as part of our research, we measure perceptions of students and faculty. And one of the things that we have found is that the number one reason people choose not to teach is misperceptions about salary. But then the reason they choose to teach is the students and relationships with students, supporting the students, watching the students grow. So we measure students' interest in becoming a teacher. And what we have found is that about a little over 60% of the students at the 50 universities where we've been measuring perceptions are interested in becoming a teacher. About 50% of those are not currently pursuing teaching. And we found that if we share the facts about the profession with these students, many of them decide that this is actually a career that they want to pursue. They're already interested, they don't have accurate information about the profession, so they haven't acted on that interest. Now, where are these misperceptions coming from? And we think that local and national media are part of the source of this. So here's an example where teachers were asked if they felt treated with respect by their coworkers. Very high, 95%. We're learning as we collect more and more data that teachers have just about the best coworkers of any occupation. My students' parents or my students, very high also, 87, 88%. My supervisor, 84%. My school board, 68%. State and federal elected officials, 41%, and local and national media, 39%. So teachers aren't feeling that the media is telling their story. They're not feeling respected, and they don't feel like it's an accurate representation of their profession. And it's causing serious problems in the number of people who want to become teachers because they are being told the profession is different than it actually is. So Why does the media focus on negative stories about teaching? It's because we care very much about our teachers. As a public, we are very supportive of our teachers, and unfortunately, negativity sells. So prestige, the question is, how do we increase the prestige of the profession? And I think there's a fundamental challenge here. Teachers have been part of our everyday lives, while astronauts are bigger than life. So I would argue this is sort of like a prophet from another land type of issue here. As long as we all have teachers that are part of our life and that we're very close to and we have relationships with, it's very hard to hold them up on a pedestal like you might an astronaut or a lawyer or a doctor, somebody who's always at arm's length. So teachers, however, there's a lot of research that's telling us that teachers have the greatest impact on society because they have close relationships with students. So to be seen on a pedestal, you must remain at arm's length. So that's why I'm asking, should we be trying to raise the prestige? Now, of course, we need to recognize that this is the most valuable profession out there, and it's a great job, and we support our teachers. But I don't think we should be trying to put teachers up on a pedestal, because that takes away that relationship piece that is so critical to them affecting behavior change and helping students learn. So those were our ideas that we've been working on recently about prestige and about how we need to share some more positive narratives. So I just want to remind you, teachers rate their lives better than all other occupation groups, trailing only physicians. And I hope that you're able to help us start celebrating the positives of the profession. So thank you for watching.